te bucuri de prospețime. Această emisiune este sponsorizată de Kaufland.
Alt continent, altă aventură, alt drum. 3 țări exotice, misterioase, cu multe de văzut, cu multe de descoperit. Cum să faci un traseu care să surprindă senzaționalul, esențialul? Pentru așa ceva s-au făcut multe ședințe, s-au pierdut multe nopți, s-au băut multe cafele. Haideți să vedem împreună cum s-au născut ideile ce au dus la scrierea poveștii sezonului 5 pe drumul Aurului, America Express.
Well, El Dorado is an ancient legend that is actually true. When the conquistadors arrived, they discovered that the indigenous tribes were throwing gold to the lagoons. The gold had a different value, not monetary, but spiritual. All this legend started when they were super anxious, and ambitious to get all this gold. They thought that it was the closest material to the sun. And the sun was the most important god. So it started this fever to get as much gold as they could from Mexico to Guatemala and to the rest of the continent until they arrived to Colombia and discovered that it was true. It was a true legend. So they invested centuries trying to get it, and they got many, pieces of gold, but never found the actual treasure. Antena has brought to the viewers 4 seasons so far in different places of the world, but never been here to Latin America, so it's quite special for us to be able to produce an adventure, an incredible adventure like this. We'll start in Mexico, we'll go to the Mayan Empire in Guatemala, and we'll finish in Colombia.
Cred că la noi în echipă nu a existat sufletel de om care să nu tresalte în momentul în care s-a dat vestea traseului. Mexic, Guatemala, Columbia. E un traseu complex. Nu ajungi în zonele turistice, vezi pe acolo 3 all inclusivuri și o plajă și asta e tot. Nu, mergem prin sate, mergem printre localnici, testăm toate lucrurile care ei trăiesc zi de zi. E o cu totul altă experiență și toată lumea era curioasă să vadă ce înseamnă America Express pe traseul ăsta.
Well, it was a big challenge. It was a big challenge because the distances are huge, but we managed to put the best of the culture, the most intriguing, exotic, inspiring features of what Latin America is, especially these 3 countries that preserve, still very much alive these ancient traditions. So there were many challenges. There were many challenges from the idea to write it and then to produce it, which is a completely different story. There are geographic issues because the distances are big. There are bureaucratic, security-wise. So it took us months traveling here. We traveled for 4 months. These countries have this variety of culture that we wanted to represent, so it was a tough decision, sometimes choosing one thing and then deciding to leave other content, But we managed to organize this incredible route that has different landscapes, different culture, different accents, different languages and dialects, gastronomy, religion, beliefs.
Discuția despre asta au început în decembrie anul trecut, adică acum aproape 6 luni. Au fost 3 luni de scouting și alte 3 luni de discuții pe scenarii, pe probe și alte. În scouting, nu știu, să zicem că vezi o locație cu un lucru drăguț care ți se pare că este pretabil pentru o misiune de un anumit fel. Misiunea nu este clară, nu are reguli clare și atunci noi venim înainte, avem o ședință cu vreo 3 zile înainte, încercăm să creăm niște reguli, să o clarificăm.
We normally do is start with Google Maps. This is where everything starts. to see where can we start and where are we going to finish. So we have gathered the best of the producers of all these different countries. So the idea is to bring people to see what Latin America really is. This route is about color, about humor, about gastronomy, about optimism. People will see that these countries have been suffering and some of the cities are quite poor, but there's always optimism and comedy. You know, it's like a Latin American way to face the difficulties. It's like a mixture of tragedy and comedy, and then we have music and humor to help us. And that's the idea, that the viewers will grasp all that feeling of what Latin America is, you know.
Ceva ce se întâmplă pentru prima oară în acest show, în această emisiune, li se dau trasee pe care au voie să meargă și să facă autostop sau pe care nu au voie să meargă și să facă autostop, pentru că sunt periculoase.
There are so many prejudices about what Latin America is going to be, how is it going to be, is it going to be dangerous? Well, there are places where we shouldn't go. And we try to avoid them because these countries have had a history of social injustice. So there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of crime, but crime is not a thing related only with Latin America. It could happen in Paris, it could happen in New York, it could happen in Bucharest. But of course, you know, these stereotypes and these fears are part of real life, you know, because there is these countries are marked by big gaps, you know, between the social classes and social injustice. And there is poverty, you know, there is violence, we cannot hide it. During the scouting, it's all our own adventure that is not on the telly, you know, it's not part of the program, but it's our own adventure, you know. Sometimes the only way to decide where to go is by going. It's the only way, and sometimes, you know, GPS just doesn't work and we don't have internet, and probably you get panicked. But then, you know, every time that happened, we found local people willing to help us. And that was a huge challenge. You know, we're going to places where many locals have not been, where many Mexicans have not been, where many Guatemalans have never been, where many Colombians have never dreamed of being. So we are going there. So that's part of the thing, you know, to arrive there, to talk to the old mamas and shamans, and they say, this group of Romanians are going to come in a month, you know, please receive them and teach them. And they were willing to do it, you know. So then this prejudice also are Latin American. Oh my God, this people is coming. And then they were knocking on the window on the car and said, do you want some quesadillas? I said, oh yes, why not? No, these weird people arriving. They come with a bottle of tequila. That's nice, you know. So every time, you know, we were surprised, you know, to find where we were expecting fear, we found love. We are like contestants. We have to try everything. Everything they have done so far, we have tried. And sometimes it's not easy. The only way to know if it's going to be funny or not is by doing it. The only way to know if it's going to be scary is by doing it. So obviously, yes, we have to try every little thing that we put the contestants to do. We have to experience it first. Beyond the program itself is the personal experience. So contestants will have, you know, this amazing opportunity to live Latin America in a very, very personal and spiritual way. So it goes beyond a TV show. It's going to be something that will stay in their lives forever. And that's beautiful.
Te bucuri de prospețime. Această emisiune a fost sponsorizată de Kaufland.